With tighter security than Belmarsh, yet behind its towering walls, an alleged attack on a prison officer using boiling water by this man. Less than a month after Manchester bomb plotter Hashim Abedi is said to have attacked 4 guards with hot oil and homemade weapons at Durham's Frankland prison.
We've already come really close to it at Frankland, is that one of my colleagues will be murdered on duty because of the lack of protection and because senior leaders are not proactive enough and keep appeasing prisoners.
Officers were alerted to the guards' screams. This wasn't a scene from a prison drama. It was the reality at HMP Belmarsh last week when Southport killer Axel Rudakubana attacked a prison officer with boiling water. The assault happened just days after the public inquiry began into how Rudakubana murdered 3 children at a dance class. With prison officer assaults reaching a 10-year high, 10,605 recorded this year alone. This latest attack raises urgent questions about staff safety. What's really happening inside our maximum security prisons? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. HMP Belmarsh stands as Britain's fortress prison, the secure facility designed to hold terrorists, murderers, and the country's most dangerous criminals. Yet somehow, on May 8, 2025, triple child killer Axel Rudakubana managed to attack a prison officer with boiling water from inside his cell. This raises the obvious question: how did one of Britain's most notorious murderers, serving a 52-year sentence, get access to a kettle and boiling water in what's supposed to be maximum security? The security protocols at Belmarsh are meant to be watertight. This is the prison where Julian Assange was held, where Islamic extremists serve their sentences, where the most high-risk prisoners are kept under supposed constant supervision. The facility has reinforced walls, motion detectors, and CCTV monitoring every corner. Prison officers conduct regular cell inspections and risk assessments to prevent exactly this type of incident. Yet, despite these measures, Rudakubana not only had access to a kettle, but managed to execute what appears to be a premeditated attack. This wasn't some spontaneous outburst. Reports confirm Rudakubana deliberately heated the water before throwing it at the officer standing outside his cell. He launched the scalding liquid through the hatch in his cell door, the small opening used to pass food and communicate with prisoners. This suggests planning, preparation, and a calculated decision to cause harm. The officer was taken to hospital and treated for minor injuries. But will this incident be dismissed as merely an occupational hazard?
With tighter security than Belmarsh, yet behind its towering walls, an alleged attack on a prison officer using boiling water by this man. Less than a month after Manchester bomb plotter Hashim Abedi is said to have attacked 4 guards with hot oil and homemade weapons at Durham's Frankland prison. To have used a kettle in his cell to boil the water before hurling it through the hatch in the door. The officer was taken to hospital and released later without needing further treatment.
The attack bears striking similarities to another recent assault in our prison system. Hashim Abedi, brother of the Manchester Arena bomber, allegedly attacked 3 prison officers at HMP Frankland using cooking oil and an improvised weapon. That assault left 2 officers with life-threatening injuries. Abedi was subsequently moved to, you guessed it, HMP Belmarsh. Are these isolated incidents or evidence of a pattern where maximum security doesn't mean what it should? Prison security experts are now questioning how these inmates, supposedly under constant supervision, can plan and execute such attacks? Is it staff shortages preventing proper monitoring? Is it outdated security protocols? Or perhaps a culture where prisoner violence has become so normalized that preventative measures aren't taken seriously enough? Whatever the cause, the system designed to protect prison officers is clearly failing them. The timing of Rudakubana's attack adds another disturbing layer. It occurred just days after the public inquiry began into how he murdered 3 children at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport. This timing raises serious questions. Was this an attempt to intimidate witnesses or disrupt proceedings? Was it a display of power to show he remains dangerous despite incarceration? Or simply an opportunity taken when supervision was potentially reduced due to resources being directed toward the inquiry? While the prison officer suffered what were described as minor injuries requiring hospital treatment, we shouldn't minimize the impact. The psychological toll on prison staff facing such threats daily remains immeasurable. Prison officers enter their workplace knowing they might be attacked, yet they're often provided inadequate protection against the very criminals society has deemed too dangerous to walk free. The Metropolitan Police are investigating this as a serious assault. But will anything change as a result? The statistics paint a grim picture.
But the outcome might have been very different, and this latest incident has only highlighted once more the risks prison staff face every time they come to work.
Violence in prison will not be tolerated, and we will always push for the strongest possible punishment for attacks on our hard-working staff. Feels the scale of the problem. Last year, 10,605 members of prison staff were assaulted, up 15% on the figure for 2023.
Prison assaults have reached a disturbing 10-year high, with 10,605 recorded attacks on staff in 2024 alone. That's approximately 29 attacks every single day. These numbers reveal a systemic failure to protect those guarding society's most dangerous individuals. Each statistic represents a real person, someone's parent, partner, or child, who went to work and suffered violence that might have been prevented. We're now facing a fundamental question about our prison system. These aren't isolated incidents, but evidence of a pattern. Is our prison system fundamentally failing to contain the very people it was designed to isolate from society? When maximum security doesn't prevent a triple child killer from obtaining boiling water and attacking staff, what does that say about the effectiveness of our incarceration approach? The prison service will likely respond with promises of reviews and procedural changes. They'll point to limited resources and the inherent risks of dealing with dangerous offenders. But these explanations ring hollow when patterns emerge across different facilities. The question shifts from how this specific incident happened to why our prison system repeatedly fails to protect its staff from preventable violence. The public deserves answers about how Rudakubana obtained a kettle, how he was able to heat water unsupervised, and why protective measures failed. More importantly, prison officers deserve more than just sympathy when attacked. They deserve a system that prioritizes their safety through adequate staffing, proper equipment, and security protocols that are actually followed. Until these systemic issues are addressed, we'll continue seeing headlines about prison assaults, each representing a preventable failure of a system that's supposed to deliver justice and security. The Rudakubana attack reveals a prison system in crisis. When Britain's most secure facility can't prevent a child killer from obtaining boiling water and attacking staff, we're facing fundamental security failures, not isolated incidents. A prison service spokesperson predictably stated that violence in prison will not be tolerated. Yet 10,605 staff attacks last year tell a different story. These aren't just statistics. They're real people subjected to preventable violence. As the public inquiry examines the Southport murders, we should equally scrutinize who's protecting prison officers. These frontline workers deserve more than empty statements about zero tolerance. They need tangible safety measures and accountability from those responsible for these recurring security breakdowns.